What's up? Hello.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to WULFF DEN Podcast. It's your boy, Will.
Hey.
And also...
And that one.
And this guy.
Yeah.
And this guy right here. He's doing... How you going? WULFF DEN Podcast time. Today, many things on the docket.
Yes.
First up, Steam machines.
Ooh.
Remember them?
Could it be? Is it finally happening?
There's a lot
of
leaked information about what Valve is doing with other hardware.
Because God forbid Valve just tell us anything.
Because God forbid Valve actually releases something.
Yeah. Hey, that's not true. They released the Steam Deck in white.
In white.
Yeah.
I saw it in person. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Other stuff happened too. Itch.io got in a fight with Funko.
Yes. And like, technically it wasn't Funko's fault, but like it's 100% Funko's fault.
It's entirely Funko's fault. And fuck them. Other stuff as well. What else? Apparently, we're going to be talking about the United Healthcare assassin. It's not funny, Will.
It's not funny. It's not funny
It's
at
not
all.
funny.
No, somebody died.
Someone died.
Yes.
And also, apparently, it is video game related in more ways than one.
Yes.
It's not funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny. No, nothing about this is funny. Except all the memes you guys have been posting. Keep it up. Those are great.
I've ever seen about it. And there's other stuff.
Yes.
And that's it. And that's everything. And that's all there is. Special thank you to Farmer Gooch for giving us money. $20 whole this time. Thank you for that. Lil Dibbon with the Prime subscription. Jeffrey Sorensen with the 40 months. Last month Prime sub of 2024. Last monthly Prime sub. Sorry for happy holidays. Super Wolf Bros. Thanks. Still got a lot to go in the month.
Yeah.
Don't scare me into thinking we're like in the holidays already.
Yeah, I still gotta buy stuff, people.
You didn't buy me anything?
No, fuck you.
Okay. All right, let's go right to the first thing. Steam machines. Yay.
All right, let's do this. All right. Valve's new Powered by SteamOS branding has been unveiled, but it's more about clawing handhelds away from Windows than it is about new desktop Steam machines. Ooh. What a time for Valve. It seems like the Steam Controller 2 is already in mass production, and now it looks like SteamOS might be making its way onto third-party handhelds or perhaps even other machines. It sure is an exciting time for anyone else interested in Gaben's Gubbins, which is surely just about every PC gamer. I forget that PC Gamer is one of those websites that likes to like put a personal touch on like the writing, which is fine. Like, listen, write how you want to write, but when you're like that, when you're recapping the news like we do, it kind of makes it like weird, you know? Like I have to now read your jokes.
We are rebooting off of
we are so I really shouldn't complain.
I appreciate the Gibbons.
Yeah, as spotted by a Reddit user on r/PC Gaming, Valve's added a new logo to its brand guidelines, this being a Powered by SteamOS logo and related guidelines, which can be found on page 16. This is, as far as this writer is aware, the first big change to its brand guidelines in years. The document states, the Powered by SteamOS logo indicates that a hardware device will run the SteamOS and boot into SteamOS upon powering on the device. Partners and manufacturers will ship hardware with the Steam image in the form provided by and or developed in close collaboration with Valve. Valve's always spoken about the possibility of releasing SteamOS for general install on whatever device you wish, and we first saw real hints of SteamOS potential wider adoption earlier this year when the ROG Ally support was added. One thing that has surprised this writer about all this, though, at least judging by the online comments, is just how many people seem to be keen on getting SteamOS installed on their desktop instead of Windows. Windows' latest updates aren't quite bug-free, just ask one of his colleagues, but this writer still finds it a little surprising that people would swap out their desktop for a Steam desktop unless it's only used for gaming, of course. Back in 2023, Valve's lead designer Lawrence Yang told PC Gamer that Valve would probably start making SteamOS more available to other handhelds with a similar gamepad style controller. This rider will place bets on officially licensed third-party handhelds, such as an ROG Ally powered by SteamOS. Perhaps you'll be able to choose Windows or SteamOS at checkout. But Valve has seemed keen on getting SteamOS out there as a general install, and this would presumably mean one could recreate the much-hyped, short-lived, and possibly hypothetical Steam machine with any number of devices. Much would depend on support for non-handheld hardware, though, and we don't have word on that front or on any other front at all, really, regarding the general release. But with the news of Steam Controller 2 potentially being in mass production, it is at least exciting to contemplate a Steam Controller plus Steam Machine era, but this time done right, thanks to all that Valve has learned over the last few years of successfully branching out into OS, handheld, and controller development.
So, I'm wondering. So this Steam, there's a misconception about SteamOS that it is open source. Parts of it are open source, but parts of it are closed.
Well, because it's based on Linux, which is generally open source.
Yes. The part that is closed is something to do with Steam itself, the storefront, as far as I know. I'm not a developer, and I was just trying to look into it because I was wondering, why haven't we seen Steam machines? When Valve released the Steam Deck, it was widely assumed that we were going to see a lot of devices come out that were going to have SteamOS on it. And it's, especially because we saw Steam machines way back in the day. And that was, would you consider that a failure? I think it just kind of flopped. I think they just kind of gave up on it very quickly.
Yeah, which is what they were doing with like all their hardware, like the controller, the Steam machine, the Steam Link, like they all came out and didn't like make any sort of bang. They didn't even make a whimper. They were just there. And then they just faded into obscurity.
Yeah. So I've been wondering where all these SteamOS devices have been, other than the Steam Deck. And apparently it's because SteamOS is not widely available.
Right.
There's different versions of Linux that act like SteamOS.
Yeah.
My favorite as of right now is Bazite. And there's also Chimera OS, which I've messed around with. There's another one that was supposed to launch on an INEO device. I haven't heard much about it yet.
Didn't they like have to
start with
cancel
an
that
H
because like they got in trouble with Steam?
So they announced it as SteamOS, which is against Valve's terms of service and illegal and infringes their copyright. So they had to remove some of the marketing and say that it is different. Basically, they called it their own version of Linux.
Right.
It's an open Hollow OS. Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah.
They removed the marketing and put it back up saying that it was running on Hollow OS because they were afraid they were going to get sued by Valve. So now it's looking like Valve is getting closer to allowing hardware manufacturers to use SteamOS. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if that's going to be a partnership. I don't know if these hardware manufacturers are going to have to pay a licensing fee to Valve. It's possible. It
depends on what kind of license they have for SteamOS. I'd imagine it would be a better license than like getting Windows on there. It'll probably be like a lower, cost of entry.
It might be free. It might be. They might open it up.
Yeah,
but
that would be the ideal. Well, I think the original idea for SteamOS was it was just going to be free, and like you or I could download it onto our computer and have that be the OS. So I'd imagine they, if they still want to go by those ethos, like keep that in their mind.
So right now, potentially the worst thing about using a Windows handheld is Windows. I have Bazite running on my Ally X, and it is awesome. It is basically SteamOS, so it gives me really high hopes of these companies making their own Steam machines. Some of that could potentially dual boot Windows and Linux. They mentioned in the article there's potential that you could choose at checkout whether or not you want Linux or Windows.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if you could do both.
Yeah.
It might be a little more expensive. One of the reasons why the Steam Deck is so cheap is because Valve can take a cut on making the hardware, and they can make up for those losses with the sales of the software.
Yes.
A company like Asus, who only makes hardware, will not be able to compete in that way. So you can expect these devices to still be relatively pricey.
Yeah.
But there's potential for more power. So I think this would be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't see I think it'd be really cool. This doesn't mean the end of the Steam Deck because that'll still be like the flagship. It'll be like Android. You got the Pixel and then you have everything else.
Yeah. I think, this article really like hammered home the idea of SteamOS being put on more handhelds. But I think the ultimate end goal of Steam and SteamOS is a desktop. Is some sort of like stationary PC where you can sit down and play your games on.
So there are code names. There are leaked code names. I tweeted this the other day. This is r/gaming leaks and rumors. Brad Lynch confirms evidence pointing at Valve releasing a Steam box codenamed Fremont, a living room console with a full-size HDMI alongside the new Steam controller, which is codenamed Ibex, and Steam Link for streaming to the Deck and Deckard. What's Deckard?
I think that's their VR headset.
Likely at the Steam Machine announcement's 10-year anniversary next year. I don't know if that long for that.
It really seem to be. I mean, like they just did like 2 Half-Life anniversaries, but I don't really feel like they're the type of company that
they didn't launch anything with that.
No, they just like re-released them with like updates and stuff.
Yeah,
and made them free.
This was a quote tweeted by Jamie's Act, who says, "Bye-bye Xbox. Valve is entering the console living room market. It's over for Xbox." And then the Italian hand for some reason.
It's been over for Xbox.
And PlayStation, you're going to have to fight hard against Valve. Valve console will have Xbox and PlayStation games. Now this will be real competition for PlayStation. And that brings up an interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
Sony's really not going to like this because they have been toying around with launching stuff on Steam. And it's been pretty successful for them. They're still really apprehensive about putting their stuff on PC via Steam. So if Valve makes something that is like a set-top box for Steam games, that will be direct competition with PlayStation, and they will be way less likely to release their games on Steam, I think. And that's bad. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's not anything against Valve or the idea of making a console.
It's just
Valve should absolutely be doing that.
It's just how Sony still perceives like the world, the video game world as it is, where it's just very much a console and then there's the other console, and like we don't support the other consoles. We only support our console.
This is a criticism on PlayStation.
Yes. But they did put out Horizon Adventure on Switch. The Lego Horizon Adventure. So maybe there's like some opening up of borders here and there.
Yeah.
Like they already put games out on Steam. Maybe they feel like the Steam box or whatever they wind up calling it, like isn't the same thing as an Xbox. It's just basically a glorified PC. Yeah.
They've been getting better.
Right.
PlayStation. But this is going to confirm some of their fears and might make them close their borders again.
Yeah.
Xbox, they don't care.
No,
Xbox doesn't care.
Yeah, just please acknowledge us.
Xbox just had that big campaign. Everything's an Xbox.
Yes.
So this Steam machine,
gonna be an Xbox.
It'll be an Xbox. Yeah. I could see Xbox retaliating by launching a Linux Game Pass app.
Yeah.
They were one of the first to officially support Steam Deck. But the way that they officially supported it was a weird, bizarre, like workaround.
Yeah, like they to their credit, they posted on their website like a step-by-step guide on how to get it to work.
Yeah, how to get Game Pass streaming.
Yeah.
On a Steam Deck, and it was weird and annoying, but it works. All they need to do is release a Linux app, and I think that they could do that very easily. So, this means nothing for Xbox. It means a lot to PlayStation, though.
Yeah.
There was more too. Oh, yeah. I also interpreted this as if other handhelds are going to start using SteamOS, then Microsoft's got to fix their UI. Because why would I want to get Windows on my ROG Ally X?
Yeah. The only thing Windows has going for it now is that technically, like, more games are compatible with it.
Yeah.
But, like, less and less that's becoming an issue. I mean, I guess it depends on the type of game you want to play. Like, multiplayer games aren't running well on Linux because of all the anti-cheat stuff. But even still, like, most games like are still single player in nature, and you could find workarounds and stuff to get those games working on Linux.
I love my ROG Ally X with Bazite, mostly because I have the option to go to Windows if I need to. I spend most of the time in Bazite, but every once in a while you got to jump into Windows.
Yeah.
So if it's got the capability of both, then that's great. I would love to see devices start to get smaller, because you have all of these like Ambernic and Trim UI devices, even INEO devices. Someone's got to make a small Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And that's entirely possible. It would still probably be as much as a Steam Deck, which would be a little annoying, but imagine having a $500 device that's as powerful, if not more powerful than a Steam Deck, but it is the size of a Switch.
I would imagine all the third-party Steam Decks would be more expensive than a standard Steam Deck.
Yeah. But I just want it smaller.
Right.
Doesn't matter how powerful it is, even, because a lot of the games that I play aren't even using the full potential of the Steam Deck. I just want something that's a little more portable than a massive Steam Deck. The Steam Deck's a little ridiculous how big it is. All these PC handhelds are a little ridiculous how big they are. So this is good news. I am waiting for more stuff from Valve. I like the Steam Deck a lot. I'm constantly excited to hear what they're working on. I'm sure whatever they announce in the hardware space is going to be pretty cool. I just want them to release something. It's been a little bit, and they usually take a long time till we hear anything. So but I think it'll be good. I think this would be a cool move, depending on based on what we've seen. It looks like it'd be a cool move. Anyway, King Wizard, thanks for the 27 months, and that's it. While we're here talking about handhelds and stuff, we could talk about the MSI Claw that I saw.
Oh yes, you went out there to actually see it.
I flew to LA, which I didn't want to do. I actually said no at first, and then I heard who was going, and I was like, all right, I want to go now.
Okay.
So me and a couple of other handheld YouTubers got to go see the new MSI Claw 8 AI. Have we talked about it on the show?
I don't think so.
So it is a spec bump of the original MSI Claw. It has 32 gigabytes of RAM, so double the RAM now.
Okay.
It has a better Intel chip in it, but it's still an Intel chip.
Right.
The screen goes from 7 inches to 8 inches. It is the same 16:9 aspect ratio as the Legion Go. It's the same exact size as the Legion Go. So it's big. It's a big device. And I held it and I played it, and I played a bunch of different ones, and we all together ran it through the gamut, and unanimously everyone in the room decided it is not great.
Oh my god.
So it was a press event, and it comes out in like 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And there's time for them to patch things up.
Okay.
It is it gets slightly more frames than like an Ally X. So it performs slightly better than its competitors. However, what they cannot quantify is the frame dips that happen very harsh and very sporadically.
Okay.
So you'll be playing a game and the frames will skip. And it happens in a lot of games, and it doesn't matter if the system's getting 200 frames per second.
Right.
If every once in a while it drops to 0. So that was rough. Very quiet.
Okay.
So it's got that above everything else. The speakers are really good.
Right.
Ergonomically, it feels fine. Everybody was nitpicking the ergonomics. I thought it felt fine.
Okay.
I didn't mind it at all. They were all taking our feedback. They took our feedback from the original MSI Claw, and it seems like the people who are working on it are doing everything they can.
Okay.
The problem is they have a partnership with Intel.
Yeah.
And it has to be an Intel chip. And Intel has not been very cooperative with updates and stuff.
Right.
So they were telling us, like, next week we're going to have an update that should fix a lot of things. And it's like, okay, well, the press event is today. So,
I mean, also, too, like, they're still using the Arc GPU, right?
Yeah, that's the Intel one.
Right. Like, does it have to be? I mean, I know it has to be Intel. It has to be Intel completely.
That's all the only GPU they have.
Well, I mean, like, because you can use another GPU with an Intel CPU.
Yeah. Yeah, you could. You could use a mobile version of like an NVIDIA card or something. To their credit, to Intel's credit, they claim that their Arc GPU is extremely power efficient. And all of the tests they were showing us was the device running at a low power mode. If you run it at a low power mode, it'll blow everything else out of the water. You will get a lot more battery life if you're playing a game at low power mode, and it'll perform better than every other device out there.
Right.
If you're running it at a high power mode, which is what I usually test everything at a high power mode, you're going to get frame skips, and it's not going to be as powerful as the other stuff. So, also, the biggest problem here is that it's $900.
Yeah.
That is the major thing that's going to keep people.
Does that make it the most expensive gaming handheld right now?
From the top manufacturers, yes.
Yeah.
The most expensive. You could probably get more expensive than that. Like Aya Neo and One X Player.
Yeah, but those are more like boutique-y, you know. This is, like you said, these are from the major players, you know, so this is a more consumer grade.
Yeah, this is a partner with Intel.
Yeah.
So and then I got a tweet that said this is interesting because Linux runs really good with Intel. So Bazite might run really good on here.
Yeah.
And then within seconds of that tweet coming out and hitting my little notifications, Bazite responded and said, "There's no interest in the MSI claw. We're not interested in making for the claw." So it'd be great if MSI was at the forefront of SteamOS. That'd be really cool. But yeah, I'm gonna get my hands on it eventually. It comes out the 26th.
Yeah.
You can buy it from Best Buy. They will not have review units until after that. So I was gonna buy it, but it's the holidays and
this is a weird time to release something like that.
It's horrible. You know, like, it's a horrible time to make us go to LA also.
Yeah, like, you know, you would imagine like get this out before Christmas, but I guess not.
So I am gonna wait for the review unit because it's a holiday. I have no room to review it anyway. I would have to buy it and then wait anyway. So I might as well just wait for the review unit.
So it is the MSI Claw 8 AI.
Yeah.
What makes it AI?
Great question. So the AI is the intelligent power balance mode. So so like a lot of these devices you can all these devices you can choose different power modes.
Yes.
It'll be like power saving, balanced, performance, or like maximum performance.
Okay.
And the maximum performance is the full power using as much of the battery as it can.
Okay.
And the power saving obviously is as little as it can go. The AI power mode is trying to use all of the data that it can to move the power that you're drawing based on what you're doing. So if you're playing Celeste, it's going to go, most people who play Celeste, they don't need a lot of power. We're going to give you 5 watts of TDP or something.
Okay.
And if you're playing Elden Ring, it's going to go, most people who play Elden Ring want the full power, so we're going to give them 30 watts of TDP. It was, I guess, it's still in beta, so they're still working on it. But
most AI things are in beta.
Pretty much the AI power mode did not work at all.
What a shock!
The device gets up to, I think, 30 watts of TDP. And every time we used the AI power mode, it was pretty much stuck at 17 watts on like anything. Even they had a station set up where they were running Adobe Premiere and Lightroom at the same time on 2 separate monitors. So it was 3 monitors off of one little MSI claw, and one of them was a Premiere project that was doing 4K video. And the AI was stuck at 17 watts. So it was struggling really hard.
Right.
So, I mean, again, they claim that this thing runs best at 17 watts, better than the other stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully, I'd assume that the more people who use it, the more it will learn what to do with that scaling power mode. But whenever I use one of these things, I just blast it. And the MSI Claw is very quiet, so blasting to 30 watts, it really isn't a big deal.
Right.
What else did I want? What did you not like about the original MSI Claw? Because you actually got to use it.
Yes, and I used it for quite a bit. I had a weird problem where I couldn't launch games from Steam directly. I had to go into the MSI launcher to launch games. First, I had to make sure they were in the MSI launcher once I downloaded them.
That's very funny because none of the MSI Claws that they had any games in the MSI launcher.
Really?
All of them were in Steam. Actually, I take that back. Some of them had only Returnal in the MSI launcher. I even scanned for games in the MSI launcher, and nothing came up except for Returnal. All of the games I had to launch through Steam.
Okay. So there was that. There were a lot of like UI elements I didn't like. A lot of like the performance inconsistencies from like one session to the next. You know, it's not like one overall thing. It's just like
a lot of little.
That's the thing. It was like all the little things that just added up that like I didn't have on like the Steam Deck or like a dedicated console.
Yeah,
now, that's what bothered me the most about it.
So 2 other problems I had with it. Twice the controller just stopped working.
Yeah, that was one of the things that happened with me.
How did you fix it?
I gave it to you. And you had to like go into a setting that I never changed and like adjust the sensitivity of the analog sticks.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting because this very first one I picked up, controller stopped working in the middle of the game, and I handed it to one of the guys there, and he picked it up. Looked like he was fixing it. And then I was talking to Retro Game Corps, and then I look again, and he was gone. He took it and walked away.
Yeah.
Then, like an hour later, I went to the other room. There were 2 rooms for some reason. And I was playing one, and the controller was not working when I picked it up. The controller didn't work. I was like, hey, the controller's not working. He goes, yeah, this happened to one in the other room, too. And I was like, that was me, man.
Yeah.
So I guess they never fixed that.
Yeah.
Because it still does that.
Okay.
Another weird quirk is they mentioned that it might run better on battery than it does when it's plugged in, which is really strange.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
That should be the opposite.
Yeah. So, and I thought I noticed that happening, but I think I only noticed it happening because it's plugged into an external monitor.
Yeah.
Anyway, I made a short on it where you can see me playing it. It's also what do you call it? It's a short, and it is a TikTok. I forgot the name of TikTok for a second.
Well, pretty soon you're gonna forget it forever because it's
so
for freedom.
I made the short. Oh, okay. You know what? It's okay. I was about to bitch about how badly the short's doing because it is one of them 3-minute shorts. You know how that goes.
Oh yeah.
If you don't know, YouTube now allows up to 3 minutes in a short. And if the short is between 1 minute and 3 minutes long, nobody will watch it.
Yep.
We've been playing around with it on the podcast channel, but I figured this was a good opportunity to do it on the main channel.
Yeah.
Because I felt bad going all the way to LA.
And not doing anything.
Not doing anything.
Yeah.
Well, also, why should I feel bad? They made me go out to LA. Yeah, I figured I did all that. I might as well post something about it.
Yeah.
So I made it a short instead of a full video. There's something broken about YouTube Shorts that are between 1 minute and 3 minutes long. Anyway, so that's the MSI Claw. If anybody even cares. Somebody asked about the battery life. It's 3 hours, similar to the Ally X, but again, if you lower the power mode, it'll probably do pretty good. So I don't know. Again, like I'm like struggling to find the use case. Like I still would not recommend it over anything else that's on the market.
Yeah.
Charging causes a lot of heat, so it's plausible. That's a good point.
True.
The longer shorts don't work for me. They play like a normal video. Okay, so apparently they show up as both.
Yeah. So what I've noticed is like any short over 1 minute will show up as a regular video and like my regular like recommended feed. It'll only show up as a short if I'm subscribed to the channel.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
It'll show up as a short in the shorts feed.
Yeah.
But if you're on the home page, you will also get it as a regular video.
Mm-hmm.
So it's broken. It's not.
Yeah.
Not good. 82 watt hours. That's the battery life, or that's the battery capacity. Ain't it?
Yeah.
I'm checking to see if anybody has any questions. You guys are my favorite gaming podcast. Bob, what is your favorite coffee roasting company? I've been bouncing between Partners, and lately I've been using Variety. They're both Brooklyn roasting people. I almost said Brooklyn roasting companies, but the Brooklyn roasting company is
an actual company. Yes.
Variety is good. I used to live next to a Variety coffee. That's why I like Variety. Will, did you buy Marvel Rivals yet?
I have it downloaded.
Try Marvel Rivals.
Because it's free to play, yeah. I have it downloaded, haven't gotten around to it yet.
What do you play it on?
Steam Deck.
Play it on Steam Deck?
It says it works on Steam Deck, so I'm going to try it on Steam Deck.
Sometimes games like that, the anti-cheat doesn't work. Even Deadlock, Valve's own game.
Well, you're going to have to pry me away from Indiana Jones right now before I start playing another game.
I have to.
It's very...
I don't know how to play that. I might have to buy it.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather buy it.
It's definitely... I feel like, not that it's going to be a long game, but like it's definitely a game like I want to have because there's a lot you can do with that I would want to like be able to explore past like whatever my Game Pass subscription. I am very tempted to buy it on Steam as well as Xbox because you could share save files back and forth.
If you wait long enough, you might have it. Rav Master, thank you for the Prime. And King Wizard, Mary Chrysler, thank you for the Prime. All right.
Backlog! 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 Backlog!
That's more sound effects. Hey guys, welcome to the Backlog. Will, what's the Backlog?
The Backlog is a segment of the WULFF Den Podcast where we go through our entire video game collection. Every game we have ever bought in our entire lives gets put to a little Excel spreadsheet right here. And today we're going to pick one at random and talk about it regardless of whether or not we played it. This is a collection of 975 video games.
I can't type. 106.
106. Star Wars The Clone Wars for the GameCube.
Do I remember this?
I don't remember how we got this game or why we have this game.
I hit the wrong button. I don't remember this game at all. Oh, I remember this game. Do I remember this game? Am I confused with Rogue Squadron?
Maybe. This was an odd game because they touted it as like an on foot game and a vehicle game, but it was like 90% a vehicle game, and the on foot missions controlled like you were controlling a vehicle.
This is familiar to me, but I feel like I'm probably confusing it with Rogue Squadron.
Maybe
because we played the hell out of Rogue Squadron.
Yes.
Every Rogue Squadron game.
Yes, but this is not that. This is the.
But it looks just like it.
Yeah, because it's like of a similar era, the similar vibe. It's less spaceship and more like ground ship, like tanks and stuff.
Right.
I'm trying to find the Wikipedia page for it, but it keeps sending me to the cartoon. Here we go. The Clone Wars is a video game set in the Star Wars universe developed by Pandemic Studios for the GameCube, PS2, and original Xbox. Consists mostly of vehicle combat using clone warships, starfighters, speeder bikes, and tanks, as well as missions where you play as Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Mace Windu on foot. It is set during the prequel trilogy, with the first level encompassing the Battle of Genosha from Attack of the Clones. Yeah, it's a primarily a vehicle combat Star Wars game where you fight through the Clone Wars as various different characters, I believe.
Literally, I've been clicking around. This is 3 hours worth of gameplay by Long Play Archive.
Yeah.
This is the only clip of someone walking around on foot, and it's Mace Windu at the very beginning, 11 minutes into it. Every other thing I've seen is vehicle combat.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about this game. I remember when I first played it, I had known about this part where you play as Mace Windu on foot.
He also looks fucked up, and he's moving off. Look at his shoulders.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell. Like,
something's wrong.
He controls like the tanks. It's not like a true like one-to-one like on foot mission and like vehicular combat mission. It's all vehicular combat missions, and like the 3 levels where you play on foot, he controls like a tank. So it's a very poorly implemented.
Guys, it's like
this is
Watto.
Yeah, this is when you're on Geonosia, but I don't believe those are the Geonosians you're attacking.
This is weird.
Yeah.
Also, so on the bottom left of the screen, it shows you the health of the vehicle that you're in, and this is just a picture of Mace Windu in the corner.
Exactly.
This is so weird.
It was a very odd game. It wasn't a very well reviewed game. It really is like an unremarkable game.
Who made it?
LucasArts, Pandemic Studios developed it.
Okay. So this has nothing to do with Rogue Squadron.
No.
It looks the same.
I mean, it was probably going for a similar aesthetic. Because, this was still, when did it come out? Like 2002? So we were like a year out from Rogue Squadron 2. And like maybe like a year or two away from Rogue Squadron 3. So it's still fresh in everybody's mind. And I guess, they want to have a similar type game out for the Clone War, for Attack of the Clones when that came out. And like this, at the time, this is your way to actually experience the Clone Wars at proper, because the cartoon hadn't come out yet. And the movie had ended with the start of the Clone Wars, and Revenge of the Sith started with the end of the Clone Wars.
I am now looking at Rogue Squadron gameplay because I'm trying to see why this game looks familiar. So you're assuming we got this after our time with the GameCube, like.
No, we got it like within the GameCube era. We did not get it in 2002. That I could say for certain. We definitely got it towards the end of that era.
I don't. So Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike has on-foot missions.
Yes, but it actually has like on-foot missions. It has a decent collection of on-foot missions.
Right.
Like the Clone Wars only has like 3, and it touts itself as being like both.
Have I not played Rogue Squadron 3?
Probably not. It's nobody's favorite Rogue Squadron.
I'll have to play it.
Yeah.
This has a lot of on-foot missions.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember this. Clone Wars looked familiar, but something about it looks familiar, but I don't think I've played that.
Yeah. I mean,
but which is strange because I loved Rogue Squadron 2.
Yeah.
I was a big Rogue Squadron 2 guy. I played the shit out of Rogue Squadron 2. So us getting Clone Wars and me never playing it is weird. Especially if it's that similar.
Yeah.
That similar looking. It probably plays like ass.
It was not a very remarkable game. I can't really tell you anything about it other than that it was a vehicular combat video game. The levels are unremarkable to me. I have no recollection of what the story was, who your primary character was. Not that it matters, because the story was rendered non-canon almost immediately when the animated series came out. Mm-hmm. So it does don't even bother with that.
So Metacritic 73, and then the user score was 6.9. So not very remarkable.
Yeah. The big thing about this game was that it had Xbox Live. So and it was a packing game with a lot of people's Xboxes at the time. So I know there was a lot of people who have nostalgia for it because it might have been their first Xbox game because it literally came with their Xbox.
Okay.
But other than that, it's nobody talks about this game. This is not one of the more well-remembered Star Wars games.
People in the chat are saying that it's good for co-op.
Well,
so I'd imagine it's probably similar to Battlefront.
Yeah.
But play Battlefront.
Yeah, in that regard, there's other better Star Wars games you could play vehicular co-op with. Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike actually has all of Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader as its co-op mission.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Also, it has stuff that's not just from the prequels.
Yes.
Which is probably why I wasn't a big fan of this game.
Probably.
Don't play it. Play other Star Wars games.
Yeah,
Play other Star Wars
this is a
games out
skip
there,
one.
especially around this era.
Yeah.
You got all the Rogue
Yeah,
Squadrons.
the Rogue Squadron games.
Battlefront.
Battlefront. Yeah. The Starfighter games on PlayStation were probably better. You know, that was prequel era dog combat games, so like those were still like more well regarded than this one.
Right. So
and if you're more interested in the Clone Wars, watch the cartoon. That actually is okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's any good prequel games.
No, there's gotta be. I know people like the Revenge of the Sith game. No, Episode 1 Racer and Battle for Naboo. Yeah,
Episode 1 Racer. I'll take Battle for Naboo.
Yeah, that was basically Rogue Squadron, but with a prequel palette swap on N64.
Oh,
yeah,
I don't remember that.
We had that.
We had that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good one.
I'm thinking of the Starfighter that was in Rogue Squadron.
Oh, the Naboo Starfighter.
Naboo Starfighter.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for watching the backlog, everybody. Tune in to the podcast one of these days. Otherwise, bye.
Bye.
Okay.
I mean, we talked about a Lucas game, so it was kind of going from Indiana Jones to
True.
that one. So it's all within the theme.
Hey, Daniel Dueling, thanks for the $5. He says, free Luigi. Yeah.
Okay.
Bowser's got him captured.
Yeah. Mario will get him. Don't worry.
Mario will get
Yeah.
him.
Did you see the movie? Mario gets him. It's fine.
Oh my God, he was captured.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about corporate overlords oppressing the people.
Yes.
Itch.io is taken down by Funko.
Itch.io spent hours completely offline on Sunday night, and the indie game marketplace placed blame on an automated takedown generated on behalf of Funko, maker of the Funko Pop collectible figurines. This is a tweet from the official Itch.io Twitter account. I kid you not, Itch.io has been taken down by Funko. Hold on, sorry about that. Itch.io has been taken down by Funko because they used some trash AI-powered brand protection software called Brand Shield that created some bogus phishing report to our registrar, I Want My Name, who ignored our response and just disabled the domain. This report was sent to Itch.io's domain registrar, I Want My Name, which went ahead and disabled the site. This action was also likely taken by an automated system, Itch.io said. Itch.io claimed to have taken down the disputed page that triggered the phishing report immediately on receiving the takedown notice, but said no one at I Want My Name appeared to have read the email confirming the page's removal. Contacted for comment by Polygon, an I Want My Name representative said the domain name was already reinstated earlier today after the restraint finally responded to our notice and took the appropriate action to resolve the issue. At the time I Want My Name's reply was sent, Itch.io appeared to have been back online for less than 40 minutes. Itch.io came back online between 5 and 6 a.m. Eastern on Monday morning after at least 3 hours, during which it was completely offline for most users, including both players and developers who use the open platform. Games and other products already bought from Itch.io could still be used without issue, but the storefront outage would likely have been a significant problem for creators who use it for distribution.
All right, I'm going to read these updates.
Okay.
Funko released a statement that said, at Funko, we hold a deep respect and appreciation for indie games. Oh, God.
Okay.
Indie gamers and indie developers. We're fans of fans. Also, I'd like to point out that Funko, their whole business model started with IP theft.
Yeah.
We're fans of fans, and we love the creativity and passion that define the indie gaming community. Recently, one of our brand protection partners identified a page on itch.io imitating the Funko Fusion development website. A takedown request was issued to address this specific page. Funko did not request a takedown of the itch.io platform, and we're happy the site was back up by this morning. We have reached out to itch.io to engage with them on this issue, and we deeply appreciate the understanding of the gaming community as the details are determined Thank you for sharing in our passion for creativity. Okay, so it seems like there was actual infringement happening. It wasn't an erroneous infringement.
There was probably like one thing that was infringing on their IP, and then it just went too far from there because they didn't do their due diligence and just ask for the one specific thing to take down. They went and they used an AI company to basically eradicate the whole website.
This is a comedy of errors.
Yeah.
The AI-powered tool that they use and I Want My Name, the registrar, are both at fault here, it seems like. Funko, I mean, I just want to be mad at Funko.
Yeah, but, it's nice to be mad at them.
But it seems like the other people are the problem. Separately, itch.io owner Leaf Corcoran wrote to Polygon. 5 days ago, I immediately responded to an email to I Want My Name's original abuse notice confirming the removal of the content. No communication after that. I had to proactively message them at the time the domain was taken down to try to get them to respond. So it sounds like they were also a problem. This happens on YouTube as well. There's a copyright claim just gets issued. It is always in favor of the copyright holder. And always at the behest, I'm using that correctly?
Yes.
Of the poster of the person who posted the content.
Yes.
And to an extent, I understand why it's this way, because if you think about YouTube, most of the time, the content is straight up theft. There are thousands of times per day, people are just uploading movies.
Yeah.
So, and you just don't see it because it gets taken down all the time, but it happens all the time. So I understand why they're so strict, but there needs to be a lot more protections for people who are not massive corporations. In this case, I mean, itch.io, they're not small. They make a decent amount of money, but it is all indie games. They need to be compensated for the 3 hours that they were taken down for. They should be able to there should be really harsh punishments for false claims like this. The registrar should only be taken down that one page. And whatever company Funko uses should also have some harsh repercussions for taking down an entire storefront for 3 hours. That's a lot of money that was just wasted, and they should be compensated for that.
I think because it seems like they took the lazy way out. They used a company that specializes in AI generated, takedown notices, and the AI clearly didn't work, and it took down the whole website instead of, the one specific page that it was supposed to. So there's your problem right there. Once again, the future doesn't work.
Unfortunately, the only way for any justice to be had here is for itch.io to get a lawyer and sue the pants off of the people who took their site down for 3 hours. And it's probably not enough money for them to actually want to put the money into getting a lawyer. And they shouldn't have to do that. If it happened to me, like if somebody just took my YouTube channel down for a day, that'd be a lot of money I just lost, but it's not enough for me to get a lawyer, and I probably won't win because I have to go up against Funko. And that sucks. But if I infringe on Funko, I could get sued into oblivion. It's not a fair fight at all. So something needs to change about IP laws in that way. Because that's insane.
I would like to note that Funko Fusion is currently one of the worst reviewed games of the year with a 54 on Metacritic.
I'm not surprised.
It is like the 8th worst reviewed game of the year.
That game looked like ass.
I know.
And it has always looked like ass.
I don't understand the appeal of it.
And Funko Pops have always been dumb. I have 17,000 and I don't remember buying a single one.
I know. I have a box full of them. I think I've bought 5 of them.
I don't know where they come from.
I do buy them for my kids because they like them, and I don't care because they're cheap anyway. My kids destroy them within seconds, so have at it. So son and daughter.
Funkos exist because there's a weird IP loophole where making a bobblehead doll counts as parody.
No. What it is they don't have to pay likeness rights for anything because it's all that one Funko like look.
I thought it was the bobblehead.
No, that's a specific thing with like, I think Star Wars figures. They're not allowed to make Star Wars figures because Hasbro has that license, but they can make Star Wars bobbleheads.
Oh.
So they do the Funko style, but they make it a bobblehead instead. So they sell it as a bobblehead.
Okay.
But they don't sell it as a figure because Hasbro has the rights to make figures on Star Wars.
So they're allowed to use other IP because the likeness looks a little different?
It doesn't have a likeness at all. It has just the Funko look.
Right, but they still say what it is.
They say what it is, but like, so like if I were to get, I'll just use Superman as an example. They could sell a Superman Funko and label it Superman 78, but they don't have to give Christopher Reeve's family a dime because it doesn't look like Christopher Reeve. It looks like a Funko.
Yeah, but don't they have to pay DC for writing Superman on it?
They do,
okay.
But they don't have to pay the extra money to pay Christopher Reeve. Same thing, Man of Steel. They have to pay DC for the rights to that version of Superman. Henry Cavill doesn't get anything. Okay. That's the loophole there. That's why brands generally like it, because that's less money that has to go to those fucking actors.
I thought it was more egregious than that. I thought it was just straight up, if it's a bobblehead, you don't gotta pay anybody.
No, it's a bobblehead because only Hasbro can make Star Wars figures.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a little more sense.
Yeah. It's the same thing, honestly, with Lego. Lego doesn't have to pay likeness rights because none of those Lego figures look like the actors.
Right. Okay. So, shout out to itch.io. I hope you didn't lose too much money. Now what should we
what's next?
Let's get right to the healthcare CEO.
Okay.
Apparently.
Why bury the lead?
Apparently, he worked for Civilization 6.
A suspect in the slaying of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson has been identified by the New York Police Department as Luigi Mangione, co-founder of the University of Pennsylvania's first video game development club. A LinkedIn account belonging to Mangione, who was reported by NBC, was arrested earlier today, indicating he also worked as a programming intern at Firaxis Games for 1 year and 4 months beginning in 2016, helping to fix hundreds of bugs in Civilization 6.
And it radicalized him.
The LinkedIn professional page under his name self-describes Mangione as having fixed over 300 UI bugs, 25% of UI bug count, using Lua language, Jira software, and Perforce version control system, and worked with a 10-person Scrum team in agile environment on the Civilization 6 team. The biography shows that Mangione went on to earn a Master's of Science in Engineering at the University of Pennsylvania, graduating in 2020. Mangione's Facebook page also includes claim that appears to validate his time at Firaxis. Shortly after this story went live, the page was deleted.
Sounds like a smart man.
Responding to PC Gamer, a representative for Firaxis' parent company, 2K Games, wrote via email, "As a practice, we do not comment on former employees." Mangione's LinkedIn page points to a strong interest in tech and gaming in particular. In 2018 interview posted on the University of Pennsylvania School of Engineering and Applied Sciences blog via the Wayback Machine, Mangione said that he taught himself how to code in high school, which is what led him to computer science at college and eventually to launching the school's game dev organization. "I just really want to make games," he said. "A lot of people ask us, I don't code. I want, can I be part of your game development?" And we're like, yes, please. We have a lot of programmers and we need people who aren't. Mangione said at the time, "It's cool because if you don't think about game development, you have a team of 10, maybe with our 4 programmers, 2 designers, 3 artists, a musician, and a writer, all from different majors and parts of the school who can be interested."
So, they also show his gameplay history.
Yes, Steam profile named Pep with the word Luigi as a description on the matching avatar seemingly belonging to Mangione is visible on public on Steam. The user is an admin of a small Steam group for the game development club that Mangione belonged to.
Let me just read
go for
the games. He spent 400 hours playing PUBG Battlegrounds, which will drive you crazy.
Yes.
Then next most played is Terraria, then Rocket League, then Civ 6, then Don't Starve, then Stardew Valley, then Halo Infinite, then Among Us, then Fez, will also drive you crazy.
Yes, with 100% completion too.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Civ 5, super hot, great game. 8.5 hours in Mr. President, a game that depicts absurdist assassination attempts. Is that the one where you have to dive in front of Trump?
Oh, I don't know.
Undertale and Indie Game the movie. 106 minutes in Indie Game the movie. That means he just watched Indie Game the movie on Steam. And that's probably why he played Fez. Now, a lot of articles saw this. My washing machine is done.
Yeah.
A lot of articles saw this and commentated on the fact that he played Among Us.
Well, it was NBC News specifically. And this is how NBC News worded it. I have the article up. Luigi Mangione, who was arrested and charged with murder in the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, once belonged to a group of Ivy League gamers who played assassins as a member of the group, told NBC. In the game called Among Us, some players are secretly assigned to be killers in space who perform other tasks while trying to avoid suspicion from other players.
So, Among Us responded in a
did they
in a Blue Sky Skeet thread, and they said and that's it. That's all they said. I don't think Among Us is radicalizing anybody.
No,
it's clearly like a silly little game.
It just sucks now that I have to explain to my normie friends and my in-laws what Among Us is.
Although I did play Among Us one time, and it was with wood, and I did want to murder somebody. So,
well, you're playing with wood.
Yeah. So there's a little more insight into the mind of a murderer.
Yes.
There you go. Moral of the story: don't play Fez.
Yeah.
And Civilization 6. Is that 7 is the one
7
that's coming out?
Yeah.
Okay. Civ 6 was a while ago.
Yeah, like the Civilization series is a proper video game series because they spend years making the one game, release it, and that's
and then
it.
They fuck off for like a long time.
Wait before they make another game.
Zombie Bait in the chat has a very good question. Where is Mario in all this?
You know, Mario never cared about Luigi.
No, he
never really cared.
So anyway, now when your parents ask you about this, you could show them the WULFF Den Podcast.
Mr. President is the one where you dive in front of Trump, try and protect him from.
It is an absurdist game.
Yes,
that's very interesting.
Yes,
there are many other games that could better teach you how to be an assassin. So yes. I don't think this Steam history means anything about anything.
Yeah.
Legitimate WULFF Den fan says, why didn't the news articles mention the game about literal assassination? What are you talking about? Oh, yes, that's a good point. Why did they talk about Among Us and not Mr. President?
I feel like because that was the easiest one to scare old people.
True. Yeah, very true.
Easiest one, because kids play Among Us.
Yes.
Kids can't play a game like this that's very obviously no more threatening than the board game Clue.
Yes. Speaking of which, I need health insurance. I got to sign up for health insurance.
Oh, yeah, you should probably do that.
About that time.
Yeah.
Enrollment.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Not happy about it.
Well, we do know
if only there was something we could do.
Something you could do.
Yeah, my management has health insurance, so I'm just going to go. That's what I'm going to do.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Whatever you do, though, don't go to McDonald's afterwards, because clearly
it's bad for you.
It's nothing but snitches over there.
It's bad for you over there. Next news. Let's talk more about Mario and Luigi.
All right. Mario was supposed to look wrecked in Brothership, but Nintendo was like, nah. Mario and Luigi Brothership, the long-awaited revival of the Mario Luigi series for Switch, released in early November, did not reinvent the wheel. For the team at Nintendo and the studio behind the game, Acquire, that was kind of the goal. Excuse me. In a multi-part interview conducted by Nintendo itself, producers and developers from both teams explained their ultimate goal for Brothership to link up with the design legacy of the franchise while delivering a snazzy installment that could keep up with hardware advancements. Nintendo recruited Acquire after the success of Octopath Traveler, hoping the studio could bring its prowess into 3D space. But one thing Acquire wasn't allowed to do...
Oh, Octopath. I thought Octodad. My brain just went Octodad.
That would have been a much more interesting game.
No, yeah.
The one thing Acquire wasn't allowed to do, make Mario rugged. When asked about the challenges of blending 3D visuals with the art style of the Mario Luigi games, Acquire designer Hitomi Furuta told Nintendo that at first the assignment seemed simple until it wasn't. The studio didn't want its Mario to look like other 3D versions of the character, so the team went in a totally new direction, one that Nintendo did not care for. Furuta said, "Our challenge was to develop 3D visuals that would bring out the unique appeal of the Mario Luigi series and differentiate it from other Mario games. I am ashamed to say it, but we weren't conscious of that when development started, which led to us making a huge detour. And in our search for a new Mario Luigi style, at one point we ended up trying to present an edgier, more rugged Mario instead. Then we received feedback from Nintendo that we should aim to make the art direction identifiable by fans as belonging to Mario and Luigi series."
You see him on the right here. He's got like a yellow cloak, and that is bizarre.
Yeah. Not only that,
but on him being dirty also would be. Playing a whole game with him looking dirty is a little stupid.
Well, I don't know if it would be the whole game, but clearly, like, they wanted to go into a direction where, like, he could get, like, a little messed up.
I don't mind him being rugged, but, like,
yeah.
just in terms of just the way to view the IP, like,
yeah,
him being dirty for, like, a majority of the game would be a problem.
I don't know. Like, I get what he's trying to go for. Like, they wanted to make, because, like, most Mario games, like, have a look to them. Like, Mario looks the same in all the games, and this was like the one thing they wanted to do to differentiate. It was like, fuck him up.
Yeah, but like, imagine if Mickey Mouse was in a whole movie and he was fucked up. You know, like, that's not gonna fly.
To a point, you know. I'm not saying like the whole movie, but like, you know, if he like falls down a hill.
Yeah, but this is the look of the game.
Well, that's just one piece of concept art.
Yeah.
You know,
this is the concept of what he's going to look like in the game.
Yeah, but like that doesn't necessarily mean for the whole game.
It seems like it. It seems like the way he's going to look in this game is fucked up.
Just like, you know, beaten up or like with the cloak.
Both. Well, these are two options, it looks
right.
Like. Yeah. And that's why I understand Nintendo being like, all right, maybe don't make him look fucked up the whole game. Because this is the look of the game. Right. If he's fucked up, you could tatter him up, you know, if his health is low or something. But like...
Well, yeah, like that might have been like the direction they wanted to go in, but it seems like Nintendo was like, no, under no circumstances.
My interpretation of this is they needed a design for the game.
Right.
And the design they showed Nintendo was, here he is all fucked up. And I understand why they would be like, I don't know if we want to do that to Mario.
Well, I think they should have went for it.
I think it'd be cool if it was circumstantial.
In
the game, but and he does look kind of cool.
Yeah,
he does look kind
of. Right, I would play a game like that.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not playing Brothership.
There you go.
I heard not that great.
I heard the same thing.
All right. Do we have notifications here? We got Silent Kid with 3 months. Thank you so much. And we got Big Daddy Mayhem with 25 months. Thank you so much. And we got Narbox. Thank you very much. And we got WULFF DEN.
Oh, that guy?
With 55 months. Hey, Wolf Bros. Funko? More like Fuckco. Like, fuck that company. Get it? You see, it's funny because it sounds like Funko, but I'm saying fuck.
And as we all know, that is the funniest of the words.
Yes, the words. Of all of the words. Thank you, Wolf. Damn it.
Hate that guy.
Okay. Now what?
I have no idea. We did Rugged Mario.
Dragon Age. The Veilguard character creator. Is that me?
Yeah, they created you in the game. And now you can create Bob Wolf on your own because you don't have to buy the game to create characters. BioWare has announced a standalone launch for Dragon Age: The Veilguard's character creator and detailed the game's next patch. Today is Dragon Age Day 2024, and by today I mean December 4th. And BioWare has confirmed it will imminently release its impressive character creator for the Veilguard for free on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Speaking from experience, you can lose a lot of time exploring the game's customization options, and in particular, Dragon Age the Veilguard's brilliant hair tech. Of course, any completed character design can also be exported to the full game. Look for it later today.
That rules.
That's awesome. I wish more games did shit like that.
Yeah. I see a lot. Unfortunately, these character creators are locked into these like really in-depth RPGs that I don't want to play.
Yeah.
But when I do play a game like that, I spend a really long time in a character creator. So doing just the character creator sounds really cool.
Yeah. And I like honestly, I can't think of another game that like lets you do that other than like Spore from like 20 years ago, where it was just the character creator.
Griffinix says Saints Row did that.
Oh, did they?
Another game? The Me creator.
Yeah.
That's what I think of. Like, basically, you can use this as a way to make an avatar, which is pretty cool.
So, get on it. That's good. Do more things like that.
Maybe I'll try it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sony releases Baby's first Gran Turismo.
Yeah, it's basically. As we celebrate PlayStation's 30th anniversary, Kazunori Yamauchi, the president of Polyphony Digital, writes on the PlayStation blog that he's thrilled to introduce My First Gran Turismo.
That is the actual logo?
Yes.
That looks terrible.
A special free-to-play initiative to dive into the exhilarating world of motorsports. The experience holds a special place in his heart as it pays tribute to the origins of the first Gran Turismo, where players of all generations discover the joys of racing. Whether it's introducing kids to the joy of racing for the first time or reigniting a forgotten passion for driving, My First Gran Turismo was designed to be both approachable and immersive, created for everyone with no limits on age or driving skill. My First Gran Turismo will be available through the PlayStation Store December 6th at 12 a.m. local time.
It says free to play?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo is a great tech demo.
Yes. And, you know, this can, like, basically, if you've never played the game before, because, like, the Gran Turismo games are, like, really hardcore driving sims.
Yeah.
They're really technical, and you really got to know how to drive in order to play Gran Turismo.
Yeah, there's a lot to those games.
Yeah, so this is good, like, dipping your toes in the water.
It's cool.
If you like that movie, which apparently people like the movie, you can now play the game for free, and you don't have to worry about spending $70 on Gran Turismo 7.
You do have to worry about Jean-Claude Van Damme being an assassin as well.
Yes. Let me just skip right to the... Yeah, so Jean-Claude Van Damme is being added to the Hitman series. The actor formerly known as Jean-Claude Camille Francois Van Varenberg, that's his real name, is making his appearance as Max Valiant, an ex-assassin for Hitman's current employer, the ICA. Your handler's briefing is unusual, though this writer can't mention her name without... this is another one that like adds little personal touches and jokes and stuff. Jean-Claude Van Damme is being added to Hitman as a special campaign where you have to try and assassinate him. He's an elusive target. He becomes available on December 12th. So yeah.
Oh, you have to kill him.
You have to kill him. You have to find him in the level and kill him.
Interesting.
I like how the Splinter Cell games have been doing this because they like get like celebrities and like they'll just drop them in the world and you have to find them and like take them out, and like the celebrities are on board with it. Gary Cole from Office Space, Sean Bean from GoldenEye and Game of Thrones, who's famous for dying in movies, and he's like, yeah, kill me in the game, I don't care. Conor McGregor, before they pulled him because he was found guilty of like sexually assaulting a woman. So yeah, maybe you should have left him in the game so people could just strangle him to death. It would have been cathartic.
He's a bad guy.
But no, now you get to do Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is cool because now it's like another modern day game that Jean-Claude Van Damme is DLC in. The first one being, of course, Mortal Kombat 1, where he is a skin for Johnny Cage. And you can beat the shit out of him in that too.
I have still not played a single Hitman.
You really got to get on. This is the one to get on.
I am a fan of those types of games, so I don't know why I haven't played Hitman.
They say, and like I'm inclined to agree with it to a certain extent. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is very similar to those types of games.
Oh,
because like you do It's a lot of like blending in. You do like dress up in costumes and stuff. Yeah. So
I am definitely gonna play Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That's next on the list.
Yeah.
You haven't talked about Indiana Jones.
I guess we could talk about it. I'm not that far in. I'm still in the Vatican, which is only like the second like main area. But I'm really enjoying it so far.
How are you playing it?
On Xbox. Yeah. It is. So I've talked about it on the show before. I feel like Indiana Jones is like one character, like him and Superman are like they're like the only characters who like should have great video games, but don't. And like Indiana Jones has like come close here and there. And it's been a long time since it's had like a proper like big budget video game. And so now we have one. It's very different from all the other Indiana Jones games. But somehow it is as close to a perfect Indiana Jones experience as I think anyone's come like in recent, like at all, because it is not just about like the action adventure stuff. It actually is about like exploration and uncovering clues and actually like being an archaeologist rather than just a guy who like fights people and like happens to like come across ancient secrets and shit.
So is there like a lot of puzzle stuff?
There's a lot of puzzle stuff. There's actually a lot of like detective work. Like I actually had to write notes on like post-it notes and like to decipher a code in the game in order to unlock a safe. Yeah.
How does that how do those elements compare to Uncharted?
Very different.
Okay.
Yeah, because Uncharted, like when you get to like the puzzles, you look at your notebook and like you look at the thing and then like, all right, I gotta do this, and like it corresponds almost 1-to-1. This one you actually have to like do some thinking. Like you actually have to like look at the clue, look at the world, examine it, go back. Like you have to like keep referencing back and forth, and like you have to like explore to look for more clues. It's not just like all in your notebook.
And how much of it is puzzles versus like normal action combat gameplay?
It's mostly, I wouldn't even say it's puzzles, it's exploration.
Okay.
Because it's not like, it's not like regular solving puzzles. It's like figuring out where to go, trying to find out where the next mission is.
Now, we don't like figuring out where to go.
No, but like this kind of makes it work because it's not like, it's not busy work and it's not boring. It's like all part of the experience. When the combat does, it's a stealth game primarily, but like when the combat does happen, like you can get it done pretty quickly. I do highly recommend, gameplay pro tip, always have a weapon in hand because that ends things much faster. Your fists are great, but like there's only so much you can do, especially when there's more fascists around you. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And how far are you?
I'm not that far. I'm still the
how
Vatican.
Many hours would you?
Maybe like 5 or 6 hours.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still in like the Vatican's like the second level, you would say, and there's like multiple areas you go to. Vatican, Egypt, Marshall College. The tutorial level though is the opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where you get the fertility out, and that fucking rocks.
It is, according to how long to. This is wildly inaccurate. The main story says 11 hours.
Yeah.
Usually main plus sides is what most people end up doing, and that says 21 and a half. So somewhere around there.
Yeah. And like the thing is, like the levels are like open levels. You don't just do a main pass. There's like side missions that you can do. And I would recommend doing those because those are fun and like those like help you with the main path as you go along, because you get more clues. You unlock new abilities as you go through it. Yeah.
Also, I think on how long to beat, I think red means that there's not a lot of
it
data.
means it's not accurate yet. It's a very well designed game. It's a very well presented game. One of my big problems with Indiana Jones games is whoever they get to play Indiana Jones never works, because like only one person is playing Indiana Jones, and he's very distinct. It's very specific, and somehow Troy Baker does like the perfect impression of Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. It's not like 1-to-1, but like he understands like the tempo and the rhythm and the tenor of like the voice, like when to raise it, when to lower it,
and the
when
finger
to
wag.
and the finger wagging. Yes, it's very important. So it's great. I love it. I'm smiling the whole time. I'm laughing because it's genuinely funny.
I saw a clip where Troy Baker was talking about how he got the job.
Yeah,
and he won it in a blind audition. Like they didn't know he was Troy Baker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Todd
Howard said he did not want Troy Baker.
Right. Well, I understand because Troy Baker is the lead in every video game.
But he was the best one.
Yeah.
So when they presented all of the candidates,
Yeah.
they did a blind audition, and he came out.
Yeah. There you go. Sometimes the best are the best for a reason.
And when we saw the trailer, I had no idea it was Troy Baker.
Yeah, I had no idea either. For a sec, I remember AJ Lucasio was a voice actor. He does Gambit on X-Men 97. He was Marty McFly in the Back to the Future games. He's Han Solo in Lego Star Wars, and he's actually really good.
Okay.
So I thought they were going to go in that direction, but they went with Troy Baker.
He might have been up there. He
might have been.
Option.
I saw his demo for Indiana Jones. It's pretty close.
All right.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get more gameplay of it soonish.
How does it run on deck, everybody?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Google extends deadline for Stadia controller.
Yes, it just won't die.
So this is about taking the Google Stadia controller and enabling Bluetooth on it.
Yes.
Which is, for some reason, it has Bluetooth.
It was disabled when it was released.
Okay, so the Stadia controller was designed to connect to your router so that it could have the least latency possible when playing games through streaming, which is not a bad idea.
Correct.
I'd imagine it has Bluetooth on there because a lot of Wi-Fi chips just have Bluetooth on the same chip.
Well, I think the original idea of Stadia, or the controller at least, was supposed to be just a standard video game controller that could also be used as a Bluetooth controller.
Yeah, well, maybe, but in my head, it sounds like they really wanted you to connect it to your router.
Right.
And a lot of Wi-Fi chips have Bluetooth on them anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but they wanted to discourage you from using the Bluetooth. So the best way for them to do that was just to not enable it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it makes sense. You would have a better connection if you connected it straight to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So now, since Stadia is not a thing, they've enabled the Bluetooth mode.
Yes.
But you have to do some stuff to it. And you did this already.
I did this. Yeah.
I don't remember if I did this.
It's fairly simple. You have to go to a specific website, plug your controller into your computer with the USB-C cable that's included, and just like download a firmware update to it. And it'll shut off the Wi-Fi and turn on the Bluetooth receiver.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, they've said like several times that there's a deadline. You have to do it by a certain date. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do it in the future. The original deadline was December 31st, 2023. Then December 2023. Then they extended it to December 2024. And now they're like, you know what? We'll give you another year, guys. This is fine. You got other things to do.
I guess there's a deadline because other software is going to require updates. Like if you're going to like download it using a Windows 11 computer,
right,
there might be some updates that might break some things.
I don't know. I did it on my Intel Mac.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like they want to make sure that it's going to work on future stuff. So that's why they're putting a deadline, because they don't want to have to update this niche piece of software.
But like what or updates you could do? It's a Bluetooth controller.
But the fucking firmware needs to be compatible with whatever device you're using to put the firmware on the thing.
Yeah, I guess, but like most things now, like a Bluetooth video game controller is pretty like ubiquitous. So like the standard must be there already. You know?
Well, it's there's a firmware updater tool.
Yes.
The firmware updater tool needs to be compatible with whatever computer you're using. But they just don't want to update it if anything changes.
But it's in browser.
Windows OS.
It's in browser.
Yeah, but it's still got to go through all the steps. It's got to go through all the things.
But if it's in browser, like why does it have to be compatible with like specific hardware if it's all like
it's not, it still goes through the hardware.
That's like Dropbox. If you use Dropbox in browser, like it doesn't matter.
It's like Dropbox. If they never updated Dropbox again, it will start to break on things.
Yeah, but like that's because maybe that's a bad example because like Dropbox things live on the server, you know, whereas this is just giving you a file.
No, but even it's a website. You're gonna have to update it to go along with modern hardware.
either way, like, I don't understand, like there is no benefit to them for it to keep delaying the deadline.
Well, they're all,
you know,
what my point is that they're delaying it because they realize it's still working. Until it breaks, they will stop delaying it.
My theory,
because they're already it's supposed to end in like 3 weeks,
right?
And they're like, it still works.
My theory is they have data on how many of these controllers have been sent out to the wild, and they know how many of those controllers have been converted or not. So they probably have like some metric out there saying like less than half have been converted, and they don't want to get hit with a lawsuit saying like, hey, this doesn't work anymore. Like, well, we gave you a deadline.
I'd imagine most people have not converted it.
You don't think so?
No, because that's getting people to do anything is impossible.
True.
So also, you are not the only one who thinks it's a great controller and uses it for stuff.
Yeah, it's really good.
So I think it was the retro handhelds guy said he uses it. I think one of the people that I was with over the weekend said that they use it still. Yeah, because it's a great controller. It is good. It is a very good controller. Bob checks watch, ends in 3 weeks. Yes, I have that written in my freckle. Okay, so if you still have a Google Stadia controller, or you just want one because it's a good controller, you've got another year, I guess. I have no idea where mine is. I think I have 2.
You have the blue one, right?
That's the
Founders one.
I have the Founders one.
Yeah,
and then I think I have another one. Oh, because YouTube Premium was just giving them away.
Yeah,
and then you got one.
I got
for the
one.
Same reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, John Marston, you can see him naked now.
Well, no, you can't. Red Dead Redemption actor Rob Wheathoff, who plays the iconic John Marston in both the original game and Red Dead Redemption 2, has started an OnlyFans page. While the website is predominantly associated with adult content, Wheathoff's OnlyFans page, spotted by Comic Book, will instead chronicle his journey into getting in shape. This is not like other... I'm not going to do the impression. This is not like other OnlyFans pages, he said in an Instagram comment. If you follow, you are going to watch an old guy work out. That is all. That is my plan is to get ripped, though. You can do it with me if you want. He's warned he's by no means an expert, however. I'm not certified or even trained in any kind of physical training, nor am I educated or a certified dietitian. Wheathoff said on his OnlyFans page, if you decide to do what I do and eat what I eat, that's up to you. I'm certainly not asking for you to do either of those things or even suggest that you do. This is for fun. I hope we all enjoy it. His first post on OnlyFans asks fans if they are ready for it and if he's ready for it. Wheathoff's second and latest post chronicles his water drinking philosophy for the day while explaining his eating habits. The actor plays one of the most iconic roles in video games as the protagonist of Red Dead Redemption and the main character of its sequel, both of which have gone down among the greatest games of all time. So there you go.
On this Instagram post, it says, I haven't made any workout videos yet. This is of 2 days ago.
Right.
I woke up today and weighed 183.8 pounds, and I'm 6'1" tall, barefoot, which is a very good weight.
But I'm the same height as him, but he weighs less than me. So you're doing better than me already.
Yeah, that's a pretty reasonable weight.
Yeah.
So, how old is he?
I'm not sure. It didn't say.
He calls himself an old man.
Yeah.
He does not look anything like John Marston.
No, but like that's how he talks. Like
48, so he's not that old.
He's not that old. But like, yeah, if you hear him like talk and like do interviews or conventions or whatever, that's just how he talks.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just a guy. He's not even really an actor.
Yeah.
All right, so if you want to see him naked or not,
yeah,
he's on OnlyFans for some reason.
I feel like there were other platforms he could have chronicled his weight loss, but you know what?
Like Instagram.
Yes. I mean, if you wanted to monetize it, I guess.
Next Suicide Squad updates they will stop updating it.
Yes. Rocksteady is officially ending support for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And a post on the game's official website, it was announced that Season 4 will see the final updates for the Suicide Squad moving forward. Those updates include the addition of Deathstroke, along with a new medieval-themed Elseworld, new gear, and an offline mode. The offline mode will be available on December 10th alongside the rest of Season 4, Episode 7. Offline mode will allow you to experience content released for the game, including the main story campaign and all seasonal story mission content without an internet connection, Rocksteady said. To access offline mode, you can either create a new profile by starting from the beginning of the game or create a copy of your existing online profile, allowing you to jump in with all your progress. The final Suicide Squad update will come with Episode 8 on January 2025. That wraps up the promised full year of updates for the game from Rocksteady and Warner Brothers. Despite the updates ending, Rocksteady says that all online features will remain available, including co-op and all previous seasonal episodic content. It's unclear if critical support updates will still come after regular updates are over. The ending of updates for Suicide Squad brings to a close a controversial era for Rocksteady and Warner Brothers games. After a delay to 2024, the game launched with issues that caused it to be temporarily pulled from early access. From there, Warner Brothers Games revealed that not only did the game perform below expectations, but it cost them $200 million in revenue. Rocksteady even underwent a round of layoffs after the launch of the game. So yeah, there you go.
That is interesting. So the offline mode, I think, is the most interesting part.
Well, that was a mode that they promised before the game came out, and now they're finally getting around to it.
Yeah, I mean, Flo in the chat is already interested just because of the offline mode.
Well, I think a lot of people were waiting for the offline mode.
Yeah,
play this game.
I mean, I think that's a requirement if you're going to stop updating a game.
Yeah,
you have to at least be able to play it without internet. And there's no reason for the fucking game to be online anyway.
No, not at all. I was almost tempted to buy it because it's only $3 on Steam.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
For like the deluxe edition too. So like I almost did it.
Last news, Ubisoft co-founders want to maintain control as talks with Tencent continue. Oh boy.
According to a new report, Ubisoft's family founders are trying to find funding to keep the company in good financial standing while simultaneously attempting to keep control of the firm's future. Reuters reports that the Guillemot family, which owns the largest stake in Ubisoft, is talking to Tencent and other financial partners to try and find a way to fund a management-led buyout. CEO Yves Guillemot and his family members are keen to retain control of Ubisoft amid any such deal, and this has apparently been a sticking point in financial discussions. The report said Tencent is asking for a greater say on future board decisions in exchange for putting more money into Ubisoft. The report also said Tencent may not invest any further amount of money into Ubisoft. The report went on to say that Tencent wants to make a deal to help prevent any other firm from coming in and making a hostile takeover bid for Ubisoft. In 2017, Vivendi attempted a hostile takeover, and the French gaming giant successfully fought this off after striking deals with Tencent and a Canadian pension plan. Tencent currently owns nearly 10% of Ubisoft stock. The Guillemot family owns 15%.
That's it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure other like companies and stuff like are invested. You know.
Yeah, I know, but I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I thought the Guillemots had a majority stake.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the majority.
That's crazy.
So yeah, we remain committed to making decisions in the best interest of all of our stakeholders, Ubisoft said in a statement to Reuters. In this context, as we have already indicated, the company is also reviewing all of its strategic options.
So we covered the Vivendi hostile takeover back in 2017.
Yeah.
And we covered this recently because there was already rumors that they were going to be bought by Tencent.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about how Ubisoft has had bad management for a while, and they don't seem to know what they're doing with these IPs that they have. They have a lot of great IPs, and they've been fucking them all up.
Yes.
It feels like they don't know how to make games anymore.
Yeah.
And selling to Tencent kind of makes a little bit of sense. They didn't want to give up power to Vivendi back in the day.
Yeah.
But now it seems like they should give up power to somebody, and they want to do it to Tencent. But I wasn't expecting them to want to continue to manage it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's like the least surprising thing about all of this.
That's surprising to me
because
they suck at managing it.
Well, the thing is, like, the Guillemot family started Ubisoft.
Right.
And, like, throughout it all, like, they have clearly been the ones steering the ship. And the thing about Yves Guillemot, as I've said this before on the podcast, he might be the stupidest CEO in all of gaming. He's, like, so blind to everything else. He thinks everything he's doing is the right decision. So, of course, he would still want to manage Ubisoft. He's not the problem.
Right.
Everything else is the problem. He still knows what he's doing.
There's a lot of dumb CEOs in gaming.
There's a lot of dumb CEOs in the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I used to think, they have to have something going right to get in that position.
Mostly no.
But no, it turns out, looking like no.
No. And what's the point nowadays of being a CEO? It's like dangerous out there.
Dangerous out there. You don't know what could happen.
Yeah. But he's in France, so he's got nothing to worry about on that front. So
he's in France or he's in Canada?
He's in France.
Okay.
It's in France. Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that he would want to hold on to some monochrome of power, but that's going to blow up in his face. Because Tencent's not going to want him to remain in control. They're going to want to be in control.
Yeah, if they're buying into it, they want to control it.
So
I don't like Tencent owning the whole gaming industry.
Yeah,
but I don't like Ubisoft either.
So. Well, like anybody who wants to buy Ubisoft, if Vivendi all of a sudden comes back and he's like, we want Ubisoft again, and they go that way, like they're not going to want the Guillemot family involved.
Yeah,
they're going to want their own people. They're going to look at like the past few years. They're going to look at shit like a Star Wars game underperforming. Like how does that happen? They're going to look at Assassin's Creed being delayed because for some reason they can't get their shit together on that.
Apparently there's a big update with Star Wars Outlaws. Remember how I said it's mostly a stealth game?
Yeah.
They updated it so now missions won't fail if you get caught.
Yes.
That's so weird.
There was like one or two missions in particular where like if you get caught, it's an instant game over.
There's a lot of missions like that, but I'm sure there's a couple missions where it makes it really difficult.
Yeah.
But a lot of missions make it so if you get caught, the mission's over. So they just updated it so you don't fail the mission anymore, which is like a massive game mechanic change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think like that's honestly for the better because like, caught once and the game is over. Like that's such an antiquated like gameplay mentality.
It wouldn't be an issue if the stealth was better. But the stealth is kind of ham-fisted.
Right.
I mean, I like it because I kind of like it feels like an old GameCube game. It's like a janky like stealth nonsense. But if it was like a Metal Gear and you get caught and the mission's over, it wouldn't be bad because the stealth is good, but the stealth is not good. Anyway, that's all the news. Tweet of the week.
Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week.
Your tweet of the week is Skeet, and it's a quote Skeet. It's a quote of discussing film that says Jeremy Allen White will officially star as Jabba the Hutt's son in The Mandalorian and Grogu. And the quote tweet is, I guess this is from the bear.
This is from the bear.
He's reading a note, and the note says, Bonapa kisa tolpa da bunki na chanaga owana mita choboda. And then he starts crying.
Yeah. Talk about things that don't make sense.
I mean, Bradley Cooper played Groot, and he was fine.
Bradley Cooper played Rocket.
Oh, Vin Diesel played Groot. It's great.
It's great. Yeah, it's
great.
Next to the Iron
Giant. Actually,
Giant.
neither of those make sense. All right. Now we're actually dreaming of Nishmas. Thanks for the 11 months, and Peter D Games. Thanks for the 100 bits. Hi, Wolf Den. I am Peter D Games. I sent you a DM on Instagram. We want to be part of something huge related to video games, and we would love you to come to Spain in 2025. We will cover the cost waiting for you to... hey, that sounds great. This is not the place to fucking fucking get my attention. Okay, buddy? Appreciate it, but how about an email?
Please go through the proper channels.
All right. Now we're gonna talk to you people.
Yes. Starting with people who have comments on last week's Wolf Den Podcast over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Wolf Den Podcast.
There it is. Metalcore says controller leak looks friendly for racing games. What are we talking about?
Steam, yeah.
No, I think this is this Nintendo Switch.
Oh, yes.
Probably so they can release a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe controller Deluxe to put in with the holiday bundle for next 7 more games.
7 more years.
7 more years. Oh, they're saying the controller's going to be a little bigger so that they can have a new wheel?
No, he's saying like the controller's going to be a little bigger and the trigger is going to be better, like it's going to be more like a traditional analog trigger that you see on
that's why it looks
Xbox.
friendly for racing games.
Yes.
Except that in Mario Kart you use the A button to go.
Yes. Well, maybe this will be what changes, This is, now they're going to start using the trigger because they have the room on the Joy-Con.
I don't see that happening at all. Melon says, Will always having weird trouble with technology. He truly becomes a dad. He has truly become a dad.
Yes. I actually had to go through my many boxes of random cables today because I am helping my mother-in-law with another random tech problem that nobody seems to be able to solve. Her Apple TV just stopped working on her living room TV. But just her living room TV. Not her bedroom TV. I tried it on that TV. I now have it. I'm gonna try it at home, in my home, to make sure it's just the TV. So now I got to figure out how to fix her TV.
I was just glazing Apple for how easy everything is to use.
Yeah.
And I had a little problem today, and yes, last night. Hannah said that she was using screen. Okay, so this problem is actually really involved and deep.
Okay.
So I was playing Balatro on my computer.
Okay.
And I kept beating it, and it wouldn't save.
Okay.
I did it like 3 times, and I was like, why isn't it saving? I unlocked a new deck, and it's not saving my new deck. It just won't save on my computer. It saves on my phone just fine.
Right.
So I was complaining to Hannah, and she says, just use screen mirroring. Okay. Because on the new OS, you can mirror your phone.
I do it all the time for our TikToks. Actually.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I updated. I didn't realize it wasn't updated. So I updated my computer so that I could do the screen mirroring. I updated it, and it turns out in order to do the screen mirroring, you need to have a pin on your phone.
Yes.
I don't have a pin, and I refuse to get a pin. So I guess I'm just never screen mirroring.
Yeah.
And since I updated, there's a known issue with external monitors
on
M1 and M chips, and the new OS.
Okay.
It just fucks everything up with external monitors. Not all external monitors. I think if you have more than one and one of them happens to be like a high refresh rate, it is fucked. So this has happened to me before where I have to like unplug it and plug it back in. Yeah. And then it'll just work.
Okay.
But now what's happening is it's flickering like a lot. And I have to unplug everything, try every port, and then eventually one of the ports will work.
See, I also am having a problem. I guess it's because I updated. I keep it folded, and I connect it to my KVM to connect to my monitor.
So it's closed.
It's closed, yes.
I do the same thing.
And now, when I go to get to, like, wiggle the mouse or, like, switch back and forth between computers, nothing happens. I have to pick up my laptop, open it, then log in, and then fold it back down again.
It's not off, right? It's asleep?
No, it's just asleep, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So where is the keyboard and mouse plugged into? A KVM?
KVM, yeah.
And that used to be fine.
Used to be fine.
Yeah, it's probably because you updated.
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution for that is. Try a different port? Because I've tried every... I
guess.
The only thing that worked for me was trying every port until one eventually worked. And it was one that had previously not worked, and now it works. So, The solutions I found for this issue were insane. I found a lot of threads where people had the same issue, and all of the solutions were wildly different and really in depth.
Right.
Like, instead of trying different ports, I fucking went into safe mode, terminal, disabled my background.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in light mode right now. Apparently, BenQ, the monitor company, says that dark mode on external monitors is broken and you should use light mode.
Okay.
Yeah, I changed the ICC profile. I did all the shit. I even tried lowering the resolution and then the frame rate and everything, and none of that shit worked. The only thing that worked was finding a port that eventually just... So that's fucking annoying, and there's no solution, and also people have been having these problems since the M1 came out 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So get your shit together. Anyway, where are we? Jolliday from last week says, I know most come here for video games, emulator, and Switch 2 news, but I, for one, am only here for the Wolf Bros espresso and car opinion. I am absolutely in line with Bob's thinking that plug-in hybrids are the foreseeable future. I hope that there's more, because they're not making more.
A coworker of mine on my 9 to 5 has a plug-in hybrid, and he had to take it in for service because one of the cells in the battery just died, and it messed up his whole car. And he has to leave it at the dealership for an undetermined amount of time while they source the battery for it.
That would be a while, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like hell.
Now you can let them have it until the battery comes in, you know?
I think it's like a hazard type thing too, like if they drive around. It's a Lexus, so they're like really like.
Well, no, yeah,
about that.
Those should be good.
They should be,
yeah.
And the car is not that old, you know. And I'm sure you could just put a Toyota battery in there because they're the same fucking car, just one has leather seats.
Yeah. Yeah, is it called the Land Cruiser? I keep forgetting the name, but I think it's the Land Cruiser.
Okay.
It's a hybrid, but it's not a plug-in hybrid.
Yeah.
I want it to be a fucking plug-in hybrid. That would be cool. That car's cool.
The Toyota Land Cruiser.
Yeah, I want that, but plug-in hybrid.
I just want a car. Like, I don't want tech. I want a car.
No, I want a little bit of something going on in it. Nick Province says, I had the classic N64 at my mom's, PS1 at my dad's because my parents were divorced. That sounds kind of sick. My dad had his TV and other electronics hooked up to 2 big stand-up speakers. So I used to get blasted with the PS1 startup sound like the Maxwell tape guy sitting in a chair. That's like having 2 Christmases.
Yeah.
Except it was every day. Luke Antone says, do we think that old Pro Controllers will work on the Switch 2? I am willing to bet that they will.
Oh, yeah. I would hope so. Because, otherwise, why bother? You know?
Now we're in the chat and on Twitch. Christian Salinas says, Apple engineer here. In the screen mirroring, you should be able to go to preferences in the top left corner and bypass that.
Oh.
Hold on. I'm doing that right now. iPhone mirroring. Your iPhone on your Mac. Continue. Unlock iPhone. It's unlocked. To use iPhone mirroring, Robert's iPhone must be passcode protected. You can add a passcode in the setting. Set up later? It kicked me out. Unless you're talking about something else. You might be talking about something.
I mean, it's good to know that there's a way to bypass it.
There might not be. It doesn't look like there is.
But the Apple engineer said there was.
We might be talking about something else. Hannah says simply use Face ID. I refuse to have an extra microsecond that I cannot. Look at this. Wow, I'm in.
Hold on. There you go.
See?
God damn it. It's not that bad. It even works in the dark. It's kind of cool. It's good because I don't have to remember passwords for all my apps. It just scans my face.
I'd rather use a password. Password's easy.
Actually,
I don't have to know any pass. Everything's saved.
Well, now that it has the password manager, and like that I can access by, guess what? Scanning my face.
It just, I hit a button. It's on the keyboard. I just go beep, and then it's fucking there. Moist Crackers, thanks for the Prime. Anybody else? No. something dystopian about it just scans my face.
Like, to be clear, yes, I am fully aware that I am letting a giant corporation scan my face and do whatever the fuck they want with my data.
I don't care about what they do with my data.
At a certain point, yeah, I'm just like, whatever, man.
It's not a big deal to me. Did you bros talk about X Defiant shutting down? We did last week.
It wasn't a news topic. We briefly touched upon it. Yeah, the X Defiant was shutting down.
It wasn't a news topic?
No, because it like broke like right before we went live, so like we just quickly like touched upon it. So it's shutting down. The studio's closing down. This was after like the lead developer on the game said like, we're not shutting down X Defiant. We're good. And they fucking did that.
Yeah, I'm not even a little surprised.
Yeah.
I think that somebody, I'm not going to do it. Somebody's got to make a YouTube video of a compilation of all of the Call of Duty Twitch streamers who were paid to play X Defiant, talking about how X Defiant's going to be their next big game instead of Call of Duty. I think somebody's got to make that compilation.
Could be you.
It's all on device though, right? That stuff not on servers. Apple seems to be pretty good with privacy.
Yeah, the fact that it's all on device like generally helps.
They're also very good about not giving the government any of their the information.
I do remember like Gizmodo had like a series of articles about like trying to live without the big tech companies for a week. Was it Facebook, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Apple? And the writer said that of the 5, only Apple, if you stop using an Apple product, they stop tracking you. Everyone else is so integrated into everything you do, like anything involving tech, like it's almost impossible to like live without them. So,
and that's extremely invasive.
Yeah. Because like you think, you're like, oh, I just won't shop at Amazon, but like Netflix uses AWS for their back end, so they have your data from there.
Yeah, not using Amazon sounds impossible.
Yeah.
If you're including AWS, you're screwed.
Yeah.
That's like everything.
Yeah.
Hey Bob, was curious if we could hear about any progress on the controller you're making. Yeah. Okay. You wanna hear about it? I am making the PCB myself, basically. I'm using other open source, like, I basically made it from scratch, and now I'm like reverse engineering other open source fight sticks and controllers to fix the shit that I made. So I'm at a point now where I think it's okay, but every time I want to test it, I have to spend $150 on PCBs. So I just haven't pulled the trigger on more PCBs, but we're getting somewhere. I'm trying to get somebody who actually knows what they're doing to look at it,
right?
But I feel like it's complicated because there's a lot of moving parts, and it'd be really hard to find one little problem besides just ordering it and seeing what happens. I think the issue was so it's based on a Raspberry Pi, which is it's called RP2040, which is the brain of the whole operation. That we went from having a whole Raspberry Pi on the controller to integrating the chip onto the board, which a lot of controllers do that already. I think even the Alarmo is just a Raspberry.
Really?
I think so. Or it's an Arduino or something. Yeah. It's like something similar. It's just an integrated chip. So I did that with this PCB, but when I did that, I broke everything. It requires, I think it's a 12 megahertz crystal.
Okay.
So that it knows it's like a real-time clock.
Yeah.
Otherwise it won't turn on. And I omitted that. So that was a mistake. So I've included it now, but I don't know. I have to order a new one, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on ordering new ones yet. So it's been an extremely slow process because it's just me and Layer Shift going back and forth on our off time because we, have jobs. But we're working on it. Hopefully we'll have some progress soon. Speaking of not working, did the Wizard NYXI controller even ever work again? I never tried it again.
Which one was that?
So that's the GameCube controller. the GameCube Joy-Con that I used.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Had it on my OLED that was burning in, and it just kind of died out. I think it works now, but I'm not using it because it could just die out again.
Right.
So I'm just not
okay, I remember this.
Also, my Steam Deck OLED has been off for like a while.
Okay.
And I just got it back on, and it seems to be staying on now. But
Okay.
every so often, it will just turn itself. I was surprised the Digital Foundry blokes don't seem to think a Steam home console is very likely / viable. Why not?
Yeah, I feel like that's the most viable thing.
I mean, based on the history of Valve, maybe not, but it would be extremely easy for them to make a home console. The Steam Deck, the brains of the Steam Deck is very small.
Yeah.
ETA Prime, I think, has a video where he just took a broken Steam Deck and made it a set-top box,
Okay.
and it is extremely
right.
It would be very easy for them to do something like that. And why not? Why wouldn't they do that?
Yeah.
They thought it to be viable in their podcast. They were pretty enthusiastic. Oh, so what's Mike on YouTube talking about?
Well, now I gotta go watch the video and see who's actually right.
I think it would be a way to get people who are tech savvy into the PC space.
Be a way for people who aren't tech savvy to get into the PC space.
Yeah, that's what he meant.
Yeah.
Aren't. I used you as an example. I might have said it to the MSI people. You have a big library of Steam games.
Yes.
But you do not play PC games.
No.
You were never a PC game guy.
Correct.
And the Steam Deck was the way to get you to start playing PC games.
Yes.
And that could imagine that, but a home console. I think that would be massive.
Yeah.
The only thing that would stop that from being as massive as it could be is Valve they sell their hardware on their own platform. You can't just go to Best Buy and buy a Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
So Valve has they can directly compete with PlayStation and Nintendo and Xbox.
Yeah.
But if they're not going to put themselves in stores, moms are not going to.
Yeah, I think that's the big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're working their way over to.
Yeah.
Malice6 says, have you done a video / would you use AR glasses you can use with handhelds like Vitcher and Xreal? I have a short on the Vitcher glasses because they sent them to me. I don't like them at all. I think that they're very stupid. There's very few use cases where I think they make sense. And the only use case where I think that they make sense is if you're in bed and somebody's next to you and you want to play but you don't want to disturb them. But then you're slapping controllers around and that still makes noise. So one of the biggest reasons I think that these glasses are stupid is because you have the fucking screen with you already.
Mm-hmm.
This Nintendo Switch is a screen.
Yeah.
The Steam Deck is a screen. So I need to bring a whole other thing with a dock to play my Nintendo Switch. That's ridiculous. I already have the Switch. I want to be as minimal as possible. And it doesn't even look good. Yeah. Like you wear them and like you could see they're not opaque. Like you could kind of see lights and stuff through it. It's very stupid. Sir Griffinick says, I assume that Valve will launch their potential Steam box at a relatively friendly price compared to, for example, the MSI Mini PC. Yeah, it'll be a lot cheaper, and it'll probably there is potential for it to be cheaper than a Steam Deck, which is already insanely cheap. Jack says, I don't know why people say the ROG Ally is so difficult. Armory Crate works okay, or you can do Steam Big Picture mode, set it, and basically forget it. It's easier to navigate that way, but it is never set and forget it.
Right.
In Windows, you always have to leave whatever front end you have. You always have to end up leaving it to go do something else, which is part of the flexibility of Windows.
Mm-hmm.
But it just comes with some downsides.
Yeah.
Holy Lettuce says, Bob, I saw in a tweet today that the new Switch updates implies Switch 2 will run off of the same OS as the current Switch. I hope at least they improve the eShop and maybe make the UI more creative.
I would imagine, yeah, it would be like strikingly similar to the current Switch. Like that only makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be very similar.
Yeah.
I think it's not going to be that exciting, to be honest. It's going to be cool that it's going to be more powerful, but otherwise it's going to be largely the same stuff.
Yeah.
There was Satisfy, the grip company.
Yes.
Accidentally posted a video because they have a Switch 2 grip.
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming that they just got like some Chinese manufacturer like leaked them the specs. And they posted a video that had their grip with a Switch 2 already. But I don't know. I don't know what. I don't think it's any. I think that they just mocked it.
Right.
I don't think there's anything to write home about. I wouldn't take that as any actual like information. They probably got information from a Chinese like manufacturer.
Yeah.
Because we've seen all of this stuff already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have Joy-Cons right over there that I 3D printed. So some people are saying the Game Awards there might be a announcement.
I saw that, but then I also saw somebody like made a good point that like Nintendo has not had the same relationship with the Game Awards since Reggie left. So.
Yeah, I think that they don't need to have the Switch 2 announcement anywhere. That would be a YouTube drop.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they'd want to keep that to themselves. Somebody also asked if I was streaming the Game Awards. Yes, on Thursday I will be right here in this seat watching it on that TV. All right, that's it. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for chatting with us. As always, the WULFF Den Podcast every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/WULFFDEN or youtube.com/WULFFDEN Podcast. If you can't make the show for any reason at all, we always put the archive version up over on youtube.com/WULFFDEN Podcast. So you can go and check us out over there on demand whenever you want. But if you prefer to listen to us rather than watch us, you can do that as well, because we're also an audio podcast on any and every podcast service, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, Audible.com, Pocket Cast, the list goes on. But no matter where you get the show from, folks, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us, because that helps us with placement on all of those respective platforms.
I have been playing with the Aya Neo Pocket DMG this week. I did a stream on it. I did a stream messing with it on Sunday. I hated it. It was so annoying to set up. I have since turned around a little bit. I actually kind of really like it.
Oh, there you go.
It is way too expensive, but it is also very nice. It is extremely powerful for being in the form factor of an original Game Boy.
Right.
It was kind of cool. Hard to recommend because it's $500. I will hopefully have a video on that on Thursday. However, I think Benny is on vacation, so I have to edit it myself, so it might take a while for me to do that. Also, Thursday's the Game Awards. I'm going to be co-streaming it here and watching it. I think Hannah might join me if she doesn't have to work. So that could be a fun time. Otherwise, go watch Jackson. He has 1,000 people watching him because I think he was on the front page. Also, he did like a game show today. So go watch him. I will see you later. Goodbye.
Bye.